हेलो दोस्तों फोरम प्रिवेंशन ऑफ एनवायरनमेंट एंड साउंड पॉल्यूशन वर्सेस यूनियन ऑफ इंडिया डिस्कस करते हैं। दोस्तों सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जजमेंट है 2005 का एंड इट्स अ वेरी ब्रॉड बेस्ड केस। इसमें इन जनरल नॉइज पॉल्यूशन पे केस है। इट्स अबाउट नॉइज पॉल्यूशन फ्रॉम लाउड स्पीकर्स, फायर क्रैकर्स, vehicles, industry, and the appellants and the petitioners have tried to sort direction। क्योंकि इस केस में वैसे डिस्कस भी हुआ है कि देर इज लॉट ऑफ स्टैट्यूटरी और लीगल फ्रेमवर्क टू कंट्रोल नॉइज पॉल्यूशन आर मेनी, लेकिन वो द फॉल्ट द लैकूना लाइज इन इम्प्लीमेंटेशन। और इम्प्लीमेंटेशन क्यों नहीं हो पा रहा है? क्योंकि देर इज लैक ऑफ पोलिटिकल विल लैकिंग है, तो एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव विल भी लैक्स हो जाता है। एंड द सेकेंड थिंग इज कि there is a lack of awareness on the people about their rights. So there is little enforcement. And thirdly, we read in we saw that the authority under Environmental Protection Act has not been constituted, which has to serve as an umbrella authority. So the job has been delegated to the courts, or courts are not very accessible. So coming to this case, so the petitioners have sought various directions. अकॉर्डिंगली देर हैव बीन मेनी इंटरवीनर एप्लीकेशन ऑल्सो। इंटरवीनर एप्लीकेशन दोस्तों वो एप्लीकेशन होती है कि जैसे कोई केस चल रहा है, कोई पार्टी को हमने पार्टी नहीं बनाया है, बट इट विल इम्पीड इट सेल्फ ऐसे कि हमें भी कुछ बात रखनी है। सो द कोर्ट जनरली ग्रांट दैट इंटरवीनर एप्लीकेशन, बट इट डिपेंड्स। जैसे ये अभी सेम सेक्स मैरिज वगैरह थे, तो इसमें बहुत सारे इंटरवीनर एप्लीकेशन आ जाते थे। तो दोस्तों कमिंग टू दिस केस, तो सम ऑफ द पिटिशनर्स सेड कि दिवाली से पहले कुछ हम लैक्सिटी मिलनी चाहिए, या हमें कुछ सेरेमनीज़ वगैरह होनी चाहिए, तो उसको थोड़ा लैक्सिटी मिलनी चाहिए, ब्रॉड आप गाइडलाइन ही फ्रेम करो। तो कमिंग टू दिस केस, द कोर्ट सेड कि जनरली पीपल टेक द डिफेंस ऑफ फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच अंडर आर्टिकल 19(1)(a), जो बट दैट फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच डज नॉट इंक्लूड फ्रीडम टू क्रिएट नॉइज पॉल्यूशन। In fact, right to live in an environment free of noise pollution has been recognized as part of Article 21 across judgment by several high courts. Like one of them is Free Legal Aid Cell versus Government of NCT of Delhi. So besides, there has been statutory or legal framework बहुत diverse है, that we'll discuss in a separate case. But the guidelines are present across Air Act, Environmental Protection Act, Noise Pollution Control Rules, Motor Vehicles Act. In fact, IPC में भी 2-3 provisions है dealing with public nuisance, law of torts. And so finally, and there has been several judicial pronouncements. So the court referred to judgment by Calcutta High Court, like People United for Better Living in Calcutta versus State of West Bengal. So it's a general case on sustainable development, environmental protection, but it also holds for noise pollution. Then there is this case called Bada Bazaar Fireworks Dealers Association versus Commissioner of Police Calcutta. So in this case, the court said that there is no right to carry on a trade or business which creates noise pollution, and because the health safety of the community is supreme, and they have a right to live peacefully and in an environment free from noise pollution under Article 21. And then there is Church of God Full Gospel that we just saw in a previous case, in which court said that even religious processions or religious bhajans have to respect the guidelines set for noise pollution. Then finally, the court referred to the already existing guidelines and said that the guidelines and the directions are adequate. It's just a matter of implementation. And then accordingly, the court gave different directions. So the directions for loudspeakers, where they loudspeakers cannot play from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Then the court said that there are various restrictions, like within 100 meters of hospitals or educational institutions or residential societies, such loud music should not be played. Then for firecracker, the courts divided firecrackers into light firecrackers and sound firecrackers. And for sound, it said that there was restriction on the manufacture, although those crossing that decibel could be made for export, but they could not be sold in the domestic market of India. Several other guidelines were given for other activities like vehicles. So the horns of vehicles have to follow some decibel level. Similarly for industry. So these all guidelines were laid out. But the thrust and the underlying feature of guidelines was they need to be implemented well. There has to be an authority which implements those guidelines. And above all, there has to be public awareness. So we need to create a public awareness about those guidelines, and accordingly the court said that they need to be circulated in print and electronic media, all India radio, prime TV, and they will be telecasted on the prime TV shows. So to create public awareness, because ultimately in a democracy it's just the public opinion which drives the government. तो दोस्तों आई होप आपको ये समझ में आया होगा. मैं एक लीगल फ्रेमवर्क का वीडियो इसके डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में डाल दूंगा. मिलते हैं एक नए वीडियो में एक नए केस के साथ. टिल देन